Well, as you know, we continue with more of what's going on in WrestleMania weekend. However, it's going to be a very big challenge for me to make all these reviews, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to review the latest DDT show that took place at the Ukrainian Cultural Center, which goes DDT Goes to Hollywood. We have some matches we definitely got to enjoy. And of course, we have Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. I have to say this is going to be an interesting event because we have all the titles being on the line. We even crowned brand new ROH World Tag Team Champions and all this and that. We even got AEW Rampage with 4 matches taking place. And of course, who levels up on this latest episode of NXT Level Up. And also some news updates regarding certain things that have been going on in the world of pro wrestling what we'll be talking about. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with DDT Goes Hollywood. I have to say this was a pretty good show. I think I enjoyed every match. I have to say the opening match was kind of interesting. It opened up with tag match. We have Sana Kamina, also known as 37 Kamina, consistent of Maho and Shuna Katsumata taking on Chris Brooks, and of course our current DDT Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Champion Yoshihiko. I thought this match was fun, and I think everybody were having a good time because Yoshihiko is there, and you probably know what that means. Now, those who aren't familiarized with Yoshihiko, DDT has this wacky doll of a wrestler that many fans get to enjoy, have fun with, and it seems like a little weird, but it's fun. But however, in this particular match, it was of course a um, a blockbuster combination by Katsumata and Maho that defeated Yoshihiko, and of course Maho became Shumna became the was it Maho? Yeah, Maho became the Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Champion. But however, he got pinned by Chris Brooks, and then after that it was Yoshihiko. So basically, if you guys aren't familiarized with the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Champion, it's a title that's like similar to 24/7. It's defended anywhere it goes. You must have a referee, so anything is possible. So it was a lot of fun. So we'll see what happens then. Uh, Next match we have Tagagi Army consistent of Michael Nakasawa versus Shinjiro Tagagi. Now they mentioned that this was in a very unusual pairing. Tagagi and Nakasawa never did got along, but of course he needed help. Tagagi has been dealing with none other than with the pheromones. We're talking about Yuki Sexy Ino, and of course Danshuko Danny um, Dino. So basically, they've been causing nothing but problems to DDT. I mean, I know that what's his name, Tagagi has done everything in his power to deal with them, but nothing works. However, they were warned. Many fans were warned not to, if they feel uncomfortable with this kind of match, they can leave because the pheromones are in fact not your typical normal team. They like to be a little gayish and all this other stuff. So that kind of sets it in. But however, out of the process, um, Michael Nakasawa got in the crosshairs of Sexy's, downstairs, and the ref called it into a no contest, which was of course was practically, for those who have seen DDT, it's expected, but for those who are unfamiliar, it's unexpected because normally we don't see these type of matches. But when it comes to the pheromones, most of the times the match ended in no contest because, of course, they're disobeying the rules. Next match, we have Takashi Masada teaming up with Katsuda Iguchi. They take on Nick Wayne and Andrew Everett. I have to say this was a pretty good match because you have, of course, Nick Wayne and Masada. They're both of the younger generation of wrestlers that are up and coming or learning curve and all that stuff, versus two guys and also they have two huge guys. I mean, Iguchi, he is one of the strongest competitors I've seen in DDT, and of course Everett, who has been in DDT, but it's going to be interesting to see this. But I think this match was very awesome. But however, in this case, it was Iguchi with the claw onto Everett that allowed him and Masada to pick up a good win. Next match, we got Vixen versus Saki Akai. It's great to see Saki Akai in there. It was also announced later, as you know, Vert Vixen will be heading to Japan later in April. Basically, she'll be participating in several matches, but it's going to be great to see her. But it's going to be good. However, this match I have to say was pretty amazing, but it was of course Saki Akai's. I forgot what her finisher she calls, but it did the job for her to pick up a good win. Next up, this was a non-title match. We have Joey Janela versus Tetsuya Endo. If you guys are unaware, Tetsuya Endo is the current and brand new DDT Universal Champion. However, that title was not posted on the line. I have to say this match was pretty good because, you know, according to what commentator says, Tetsuya Endo does have a loss over um, Joey Janela, so I'm sure this match will try to help him to pick up a win over him, and I think it was a pretty good one. You probably would have assumed that okay, Joey Janela would win again, but no. But the match ended with, of course, Endo with the shooting star press. 1, 2, 3. It's done right there. Our next match, you can call this a dream tag match. We have, of course, Damnation TA consisted of Kanon and Daisuke Sasaki. They take on Eddie Kingston and Jun Akiyama. Now, as you know, Eddie and Jun Akiyama, as you know, Eddie has worshipped Jun Akiyama, and he probably have one of his dreams come true. Not only just to wrestle him, but team with him, and I think that was a pretty good thing. And I think it's a lot of fun to see that here's Eddie who's next to one of his heroes, and I thought it was pretty amazing that it did that. And of course, Jun Akiyama was the one who picked up the win with the exploder suplex onto Kanon. And I thought it was a pretty good match. I would love to see more of Eddie and Jun Akiyama together because I know that Eddie's a big fan of the King's Road, which is a particular style of wrestling that was created by Giant Baba when he was running things in All Japan Pro Wrestling. But we'll see what happens in the future for them. Now our main event is between two teammates, Yuki Ueno and Konosuke Takeshita. They're both members of 37 Kamina. I have to say this was a pretty good one because it felt like I don't know if Yuki Ueno thinks that he could replace Takeshita since he's now officially working both DDT and AEW. I'm not, but it was nonetheless a pretty good match. But however, like any match, there has to be a winner and a loser. It was, of course, Takeshita with the running knee strike that allowed him to win. I thought it was pretty fun and it was good. I think the show was pretty good. Um, I can't wait to see GCW versus DDT. That's going to be a lot of fun too. For now, let's just end it right here and move on with Ring of Honor. Okay, Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. This is a big show. This is their version of WrestleMania. This just recently took place. Normally, we don't do the opening show, the 0 hour, which is the pre-show. So let's just, skip that and just jump into the main card. It opened up, what I have to say, with a fantastic opener, the AAA Mega Championship between, of course, Commander versus the champion, Hijo de Vikingo. I have to say, what an amazing opener. I think it was amazing. I knew there was going to be a lot of high flying spots that definitely was going to rock the entire world. You probably would have thought saying, holy shit, every single moment that happens. I think that It's always been the case. But however, like any other match like this one, there has to be a winner, and the winner turned out to be Hijo de Vikingo when he pulled off the 630 splash, and it was over just from there. Next up, we got the ROH World Six Man Tag Team match. We have Era Fox, Blake Christian, and Metalik taking on the Embassy, Brian Cage, Bishop Khan, and of course Tao Leona, along with Prince Nana. You probably would have assumed we would have expected brand new champions, but this one was a very big, difficult one because they're facing a bunch of behemoths, basically big dudes that you probably think you may have an opportunity because they're the only main weapon that uh, Blake, AR Fox, and Matilic has is their speed, but it wasn't enough. But it was, of course, Brian Cage with the drill claw onto Matilic to allow them to retain their titles. Next up, we got the ROH Women's World Title defended. We have the challenger Yuka Sakazaki and Athena. Now, this happened. This little thing began back in LA back in January, where of course Yuka Sakazaki kind of felt like she wanted a challenge for this belt. I know Yuka Sakazaki was getting under the skin of Athena, but Athena took care of her, and she thought that, oh, she's not coming because she's afraid of her. But nope. Yuka Sakazaki, as you know, was dealing with other pressing matters, more specifically the promotion she normally appears in. And I thought this match was pretty brutal, but however, it was Athena with somewhat of an eclipse that allowed her to, of course, retain the title. But the obvious thing is, who will be the one to dethrone her? Well, that's another question for another time. Now, this next match is for the ROH World Television title between Mark Briscoe and Samoa Joe. Now, the history between those two goes deeper than we imagine. As you know, these guys know each other pretty well. Mark Briscoe has never won a match against Joe, but also I think the storytelling in this one is this: Mark Briscoe has to step up as a singles competitor. He doesn't have a tag partner in this one, and I think I like how he's playing out, like thinking he's in a tag match, but he's not. He's in a singles competition, but he has to win this match not only for himself but for his family. But Joe will do anything to try to break him. Even Joe is throwing everything that he has on him to ensure he doesn't get up. But unfortunately, Mark Briscoe couldn't take it anymore. This ended up being in a chokehold and proof just like that. A very disappointing loss, but I'm sure that this is not over between both of them. Now, our next match, we have Daniel Garcia versus Tanahashi, who has been well known throughout the entire world. Daniel Garcia, who's been in Ring of Honor, who's totally disrespectful, and as you know, they don't believe it. He and his little so-called sports entertainers don't believe in honor, but he probably would have thought this would be a great challenge for him to show them why that he is the one who's gonna make a name for himself. But Tanahashi, who has continued to be the ace, is the ace. But it was, of course, the high five flow that allowed him to pick up the win, and it was over right from there, giving him the win that he needed. Next match, we have the Reach for the Sky ladder match. Now, this was a match that was strictly been set up by what's their name, by Mark Briscoe. So he already named the Lucha Brothers to be participate. We do have, of course, Aussie Open, The Kingdom, Top Flight, and LFI who will be participating. But this match was the most brutal match ever. You probably would have assumed this is going to go chaotic in every aspect. The weapons of the ladder, and of course, outside interference from Maria, who represents the Kingdom, that Weasel Jose of LFI, and of course, we're going to have Alex Berhamontes will do anything in his power to ensure no, sneakiness from the others. And he did get in the face of Jose, but nothing was wrong. But one thing it was crazy is Penta putting Dante through a table when he did a Canadian Destroyer, and it was so amazing. But while Penta was out, Phoenix had to go alone to reach for the belts. He was able to take out both members of the Kingdom, and and get the titles. And I think this was a very emotional match, and I think it was great. Not to mention, Mark Briscoe comes out in tears, like he probably might have imagined himself, in my opinion, that this will remind him of his brother. I mean, you look at the Lucha Brothers; they're actual brothers. You know, they've been in tag team competition in every possible promotion, but also they had a surprise visit from another team that the Briscoes respect a lot, and we're talking about FTR. And I think this is like this match is more of in honor and memory of Jay Briscoe, and I think that tells us a pretty good story. So I was about to tear up, but don't. Anyway, our next match, which is the semi-final, which features the ROH Pure Wrestling Championship. Now, as you know, Wheeler Yuta has proven time and time again why he is the. But he made a very interesting call out to none other than Katsuyori Shibata. It's more like Wheeler wants to prove once and for all that he has grown so much. But however, when Shibata is there, we haven't known how much of. But the way I like this match, it showed Shibata how he was punishing, of course, Wheeler Yuta for all the insolence. And the strange thing is, Shibata never had any rope breaks, but Wheeler Yuta only had one. But it took the PK to put away Wheeler Yuta, and that was it. I think this is the first time in a long time he's ever been champion. I think this is pretty good. I like it. Now Shibata can go back to LA, well, back to the dojo, show his students that he is the champion. Now our main event is the ROH World Title between Eddie Kingston and Claudio Castagnoli. I thought this match was insane. You know, you probably would have thought Eddie Kingston it was going to win. I think many of us thought of that same thing over and over, but however, it didn't go that way. It was a reverse move that allowed them to for Claudio Castagnoli to retain the title, and it was a very disappointing loss. But however, it seems like Wheeler Yuta showed up to check up on Claudio, and then they were about to play the numbers game. But out of the blue, we did see, of course, Shibata on the side of Eddie Kingston. I think Eddie Kingston felt relieved that he has someone he can trust, and I think this is going to be interesting. So we'll see what happens in the upcoming Ring of Honor show and see from there. I think that's pretty much it with Ring of Honor. I believe it's time to move on with AEW Rampage. Okay, AEW Rampage. Now, opened up with Konosuke Takeshita taking on Sammy Guevara. Now, this was a pretty good match. It was a really impressive. However, this match, I had a feeling this was going to happen because, of course, the X Factor in this match was none other than Ty Mello, who would do anything for her man to pick up the win. It did cause the interference for allowing for Sammy to do a jumping knee strike, and then after that, GTH to pick up the win. Now, as you know, recently there's been with those weasels, QTTV. They're talking about the dirt sheet driver. QT claims that he stole this from Kobashi, a wrestling legend. I hate to say that if he shows up to AEW, I'm sure he's gonna beat the crap out of him. So we'll see about that. Now, our next match, we feature the Kings of the Black Throne, Brody King, and of course, um, Malachi Black. They take on the Best Friends. Now, we know for a fact that, of course, Buddy Matthews was in the building, but in this case, we weren't sure if he was going to show up. And I thought this match was kind of brutal. Now, I wasn't sure how this was going to be. In the back of my head, I would have assumed, okay, that the Kings of the Black Throne were going to walk out as the win, but this match ended in a no DQ since they're dealing with the Best Friends outside the ring. When things were getting a little chaotic, Orange Cassidy came out to help his best friends, but however, Buddy Matthews showed up and caused the thing. But the obvious question does remain: was this the plan all along to have to draw out Orange Cassidy? We don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they're targeting the international title that Orange Cassidy has. I think that's something that I'm sure Malachi Black would love nothing more to obtain into the house. Now, our next match, we have Marina Shafir taking on Tail Valkyrie. However, as you may remember, uh, Jade Cargill, Mark Sterling, they made sure that there was a cease and desist order against uh, Tail Valkyrie from using the Road to Valhalla because they say that that move was strictly made for Jade Cargill. But I had a feeling that Tail Valkyrie is the kind of person like saying, I don't give a damn, that sort of thing. So they did say if she pulls it off one last time, they will sue her. But the match itself, it was a very interesting one because we have seen how Marina Shafir can put her opponents through a submission. But Tail Valkyrie has shown how tough she can be. She was able to pull off the victory when she did exactly what I thought she was going to do. The road to Valhalla, and boom, it was over. But however, the legal process shows up. But Tail Valkyrie took care of her by applying the road to Valhalla. But I wouldn't be surprised. I kind of saw exactly what was happening. It appears that Tail Valkyrie was getting under the skin of Jade Cargill. Now, Jade will not tolerate this crap one way or another. So we'll see what happens then. Now, Lexi Neer applied a interview with Anna Jay. Now, if you guys remember what happened in AEW Dynamite, uh, Julia, Anna Jay attacked Julia Hart, all this and that, and she said that she's gonna make her feel the pain and all this other stuff. But if I was Anna Jay, I wouldn't come across with her because Julia Hart is part of the house, and you don't want the house to play games with you. So that's something we're gonna see what happens. Now our next match we have, of course, is Action Andretti taking on Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson is going to use Andretti as a way to, how do I say, send a direct message to Ricky Starks, and it kind of did went into that direction until Juice applied like this DDT maneuver, 1, 2, 3, and of course out of the blue here comes Ricky Starks who wants to get his hands on him. Juice runs away with the coward with his tail between his legs. So that's pretty much what took place in AEW Rampage. So let's move on with uh, NXT Level Up. Okay, who levels up on this latest episode of NXT Level Up? So let's talk about it. Our first match, we have Valentina Feroz versus Lash Legend. Now, Valentina Feroz has been dealing with the nonsense of Elektra Lopez getting her involved in her matches. Recently tried to get her into her side of view how to win her matches by cutting corners. Last time she lost to Elektra Lopez, but now she has to deal with another tall person who thinks this is all about her, and that is, of course, Lash Legend. And that plays out pretty well. However, when you thought things were going to go exactly like, okay, Lash Legend possibly had this in hand, but however, this match kind of took a different turn. I think Valentina Feroz got a lot smarter in this particular match, knowing Elektra Lopez was approaching her, but she dealt with her. But she was able to pick up a pinfall against Last Legend. This was a big surprise that happened. But Valentina Feroz was smart enough to know that she picked up the win. She hightailed it out of there. And I'm sure that that Last Legend is not going to forget this. But this feud between Elektra Lopez and Valentina is far, far from over. Now, Nathan Frazier, as you know, he has some words that he had to discuss about Big Body Javi. Now, he seems like, what the hell are you talking about? You're Big Body Javi. He's like saying, you're nothing but a fat, chubby dude. And I think that's what he's trying to apply. But nonetheless, he will face him later on in the night. So we'll see about that. Now, Danny Palmer talks about her history, about a little bit of the type of sport she's been in, and all this. So she kind of said this is going to be working for her while she's in WWE. We'll see about that. Now, finally, our main event features Javier Bernal, or as he like to call it, Big Body Javi, taking on Nathan Frazier. You probably would have assumed that Javi would do everything in his power to make sure he walks out as the victor. That's exactly the kind of person he did. But um, Nathan Frazier did not give in to whatever he was trying to do. But I'm not sure the finisher that he applied was a Phoenix Splash, because I know that people have often talked about how dangerous that particular move is, but it did play it out pretty well into it. So we'll see about that when it comes to it. But nonetheless, Nathan Frazier did walk out as the victor, and I think that's pretty much it with NXT Level Up. So let's end it by doing some news updates. Well, as you know, right now we're still on March 30th. Two things have taken place that relies over there in Japan. As you know, we have the first ever Ganbare Joshi, the restart. As you know, this was supposed to take in place this month, but due to the fact that Yuna Manaze has been put out of injury, she went to take her surgery. But luckily, her proteges, Yoshiko Hasegawa and of course Yudi, pleaded not to let this thing be shut down. And of course, Kanoka, with the powers that be, decided to happen. They were having their first show that they put out, but the big surprise happened is when Yuna Manaze has now been announced as the general manager of the promotion. However, uh, she decided to call herself the Gambari manager. That's an interesting title, so I have to say I like it. So I'm very excited for that particular thing to take place. Um, our next thing, this is a very saddened thing. It kind of makes me a little angry from what I just found out. Now, as you know, what we have with WrestleCon going on, we have tons of wrestlers that are making, but however, we're getting a lot of disrespectful hatred and all this other stuff. Gisele Shaw was bullied in during WrestleCon. Someone was calling her she's a man, disgusting, saying all this negative things around her, but she didn't know who it was. She mentioned that she went out for a walk, and that's when she heard her voice. And the person who was saying all these negative stuff, some of you may don't want to believe it. Some of you are probably going to be shocked, and I don't know about the rest. The person who was saying all these bullied comments about Gisele Shaw was Rick Steiner. Yes, folks, Rick Steiner, one half of the Steiner brothers and the father of Braun Breaker. So he was being bullied. Gisele Shaw wanted to confront him about it, but she did notice something she posted on her Twitter, that none of the older veteran wrestlers did anything to step up, for what happened. They just kind of like turned a blind eye, and I felt that's disrespectful out of that part. And I'm sure many wrestlers who been supportive of Gisele Shaw would agree that this is not right, and she's not going to stay silent. And I have to say, good for her. Even though I don't care about what Gisele Shaw is. The factor is that she can wrestle. That's all that matters, to me. But if you don't like Gisele Shaw, then get off the damn bus. That's all I've got to ask for. So for all you Gisele Shaw fans, let's just give her our love and support. She needs it, and that's something that we will not turn away from. So can you guys do that? We'll do that. Now, our next update, it's been reported that apparently Drew McIntyre's WWE contract is coming to an end. Now, I know some of you WWE loyalists out there don't want to hear this, but apparently Drew McIntyre tried to come down with a new deal with the company. Apparently, there was no agreement or anything. They couldn't come into terms, so basically he could leave. I know what some of you are saying. He better not sign with AEW. Look, guys, it's not AEW's fault. The fact is, if WWE are unable to come to terms, that's their fault. That's their loss. If AEW wants to pick him up, that's their choice. If Impact wants to take him back, that's their choice. But we'll see what happens then from there. So hopefully WWE does come into their senses and move on from it. Now, speaking of WWE, even though I don't watch WWE that much, only except if it's certain pay-per-views or NXT, well, I am happy to announce that this is the best moment I've ever watched in SmackDown, or hearing from it, a brand new LWO or back Latino World Order. I have to say that is the best thing ever. I mean, Rey Mysterio reformed it. Now, Some people can say that the LWO and WCW was a complete failure under Eddie. I'm sure things with Rey Mysterio as leading the group will be far more better. Even Vicky Guerrero was very proud. She's saying that Eddie would be proud of Rey Mysterio for bringing it back. I'm sure many of us are big fans of the Latino World Order. Me, I was a big fan of it too. Well, I kind of was a fan of the like anybody who does like a spin off of the NWO, like the World Order, all that other stuff. But Latino World, it was a unique group, and I'm glad it features not only Ray, it features all the members of the Legado del Fantasma. It's great that they're going to be part of something awesome. So I can't wait to see how this is going to play out. Now, this is a very funny news. This is my last update for all of you. Um, as you know, DDT are in here in the States. Early in the morning, around 3 o'clock on March 30th, the Shinjiro Takagi announced that, of course, that the entire hotel where they were at, they had evacuated due to a pipe leakage that took place. And apparently, the Japanese fan base had a hard time believing it because, as you know, over there, they're a day ahead. They thought that it will, oh, Takagi is playing an April Fool's joke on us. No, he was not. Even the DDT wrestlers actually confirmed it. Yes, there was leakage. They even posted a photo how it was spilling water all over it. And I'm like, why is it no one believed it? But I thought it was funny that no one, they all thought that there was a joke being played. No, no. But hopefully the Japanese realized, oops, sorry, it wasn't a joke. But yeah. So I think that's pretty much it. So we'll just end it right here and just call it a day. All right, so I hope everybody enjoys this. I'm glad I did the Supercard of Honor. That was something I felt I could not turn away. I still have a lot of wrestling I have to catch up. I mean, there's still some from the collective I haven't seen yet. There is the Tokyo Issue Pro Wrestling Live in LA. I'm looking forward to that. That will be in the topic discussion. I'm not sure if I'll be able to see WrestleMania in time because there's certain wrestling shows I definitely got to watch. Um, but I'll try to keep apprised to WrestleMania that when it is possible. But we'll see what happens then, because as you know, um, I'll be working in my day job in the morning all the way to the afternoon. So we'll see what happens. But also, I want to make a reminder, everybody. There was been an announcement that um, Tsukasa Fujimoto from Ice Ribbon has something she wants to say to all of us. I don't know what it is, but I'll keep that as a pin for every Ice Ribbon fan. As you know, I've been talking about Ice Ribbon. I'm kind of curious how things are going to go now with them because of the situation that's been going. So we'll find out soon enough. But for now, I'll see you guys on the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day.